concern among the populace. All this we are going to examine on our program today. My guests are already with me in the house. I have with me here Larry Fadansi, a regular guest on the program. Larry, you are welcome on the program.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here again today.
Yeah. My regular guest is also here with me. A known face on the program, a stakeholder in the house, Sanya Fadipe. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I guess the Lord is not a regular.
maybe I'm a regular.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Let's start the program in earnest. Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Democracy has come to stay. That remark was made by Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Rabo. Larry, I mean, hearing this coming from a top notcher of defense echelon of the country, what is your reaction?
Well, I'm glad that's coming from the Army Chief.
Okay.
However, I'm skeptical because if there's anything that tends to want to derail democracy,
Okay.
it is insecurity. And the primary function of any government is the security of lives and property of the citizens. And the moment that cannot be assured, then every other ingredient that has to do with the democratic precepts is at risk. Daily, INEC has been shouting, it is not within our purview to secure our terrain. Some other people are supposed to do that for us. And if incessant attacks come on our facilities, it might be a problem for democracy, not just for election. Now, if 2/3 of the country, or 1/3, even 1/3 of the country, there couldn't be an issue-free election, wherein you can't do election that you can get results. One, you cannot declare the results of a presidential election, which is supposed to cut across the whole nation. And if you cannot do that, the Constitution does not allow for a lacuna. So how do you get a new leader for democracy? So if the general is speaking, he should look at what is on ground. Do we have a situation where by an election, we are sure that we can get 100% results that will be credible and acceptable that can lead to the next transition program? So he is saying that democracy has come to stay because of his constituency that are dabbled into politics and administration in Nigeria. He wants to say that to reassure us that the military don't want to come back. However, those things that are ingredients of the democratic precepts are at risk. There are attacks, like Enugu was attacked yesterday. I was thinking we've had enough of it. The INEC chairman told us, if the attacks on our facilities continue, why can't they protect those facilities? It is within the purview of the police and the armed forces to ensure that. Because if our democracy is attacked, it's like a war against the nation. And it's in what situation you call in the military. And as the military man spoke, they should know there is fire on the mountain.
All right. Yeah, so yeah, going by the response of Larry, don't you think, do you also share the opinion that the Chief of Defense Staff should have assured the nation of adequate security instead of talking on democracy?
Yeah, thank you. To me, I want to agree with him that democracy has come to stay. That's to start with. But what kind of democracy has come to stay? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. I think what we should be thinking of at this point is how to entrench democracy. It's how to stabilize democracy. It's how to make democracy work properly in this country. But I think what Irabo was trying to point out is that the military are not ready to come back into the political arena again. That's exactly what he was trying to say. And that's to reassure us that they know their rights now. They know where to stand now. They know what role to play in this democracy. Having said all that, you should not look back and say, if Irabo said that, to assure the CNC that everything is okay as far as the military is concerned, we should not look towards stabilization of this particular democracy. Larry pointed out some things, some things that are not right in democracy. That's quite true. They're not right. We have had democracies all over the world where things were not right. We have one problem or the other, but democracy stayed. They still find a way around it to settle all these problems. But what ways are we finding around our own problems here right now? And that's the fear of everybody. If attacks keep happening here and there on facilities that are supposed to be used for the incoming elections, and nobody's, one moment we hear we are on top of the situation, the next moment these people are attacking somewhere else. Are they really on top of the situation? So I think what we need to do now, government, with what Irabo said, government should take a cue from that and do the needful to make sure that facilities are well protected. It's not for Irabo to say facilities are well protected. No. It's for him to say the stand of his own constituency. And for those who are in power, because he's not the only, as the chief there, it's not only his own constituency that should be responsible for the safekeep of all these facilities. So all of us should now rise up. If we are going to make sure that democracy stands in this country, what should we do? I think a stitch in time saves none.
All right. Thank you. Lanre, let me come back to you. I mean, looking further at the comment by General Irabo, don't you think this is enough assurance for international community to know that the army is no longer interested in coming back to power, going by the fact that behavior of political class at times is oftentimes an invitation to the military?
That invitation to anarchy by the political class is invitation for those people who are at the table. There is a table where people are doing things that we need to ask them. Those things you are doing with power is power. That table is there for power and sharing. Power and sharing responsibilities that bring service or compensation. And so when you are doing that, you should look at how does this manifest positively in the lives of the people. To me, the issue goes beyond just that statement. That person has tried to exonerate the class he belongs to. But we know at some point in Nigeria that even as military men, it appears there are some similar allegiances to some forces. And so we can only plead with the people who are in authority, either military, police, the political class or what, that they should think more about the people they want to serve. It should be about service. The Nigerian army, Nigerian military defense and all know that it is not as if Nigerians have been well protected. It's protection by choice. And they have a system whereby they are by laws and statutes established, and they are guided by command system, where a general will tell a brigadier, okay, brigadier, get your guards, we're going this way. But if there is not that call, they cannot act. They won't move. So, provide helicopter. Okay, we have provided, put it on ground. There must come a directive to tell them, go carry the helicopter and act, even if it's their back door. So we see a lot of these things happening. For instance, and that's the basic truth, we have individuals who secured 200 radius of their homes, 200 meter, 1 kilometer radius of their homes, such that if anybody is approaching them, they have seen. And for such, you cannot see attacks on facilities like that. But we said it that, look, there was a time an attack occurred on a facility in Oyo State, the prison, the correctional center. And the government said, let me secure with cameras so that before people get 200-300 meters away from that, that's what technology does. It makes things easy. But it's not as if our people who are in charge now do not know. So if attacks are happening to high-net facilities and it's appearing like we can't do, it's not that the military, the armed forces cannot do anything about it. Somebody must direct for action. So if you don't give direction for action, even if they are more capable to handle it, they cannot move. That's what establishes that setting. So it is now for us to appeal to the political leadership to tell us where they stand. We need to know. If we do not know, then that problem, the military has exonerated themselves by the statement of General Irabo that, look, democracy has come to stay. Whether you want to do it crawling, whether you want to do it walking staggerly or whatever, or you want to fly and make it happen, but we are not interested. We have taken our hearts off it, and whoever is interested amongst us will shed his toga and join you. But it has come to stay. So at the end of it all, there is a commander-in-chief who must know what he wants to happen. It is only he that can give direction to these things to curb it. The army is 10 times over in population than all of these so-called bandits. So why are we still having the problem? That's the question we should ask ourselves. When they want to make a move, okay, the army is moving, they will say it's like there is intel about their movement, the decoys attacked them, the bandits attacked them on the way, overpowered them and all, because they have information that they were coming. So all of these things is saying, look, tell us what is happening in your own territory as per these issues. If not, we will continue to have it. If this keeps happening, it's like some people in some places are still not convinced they want election to hold in Nigeria. And it's unfortunate.
All right, thank you. So yeah, with this comment, will you also agree that our democracy has come to sustainability level?
Sustainability level?
Yeah.
I think we are far from it. So far, we are far from it. Now, why I'm saying that is this: we all see what's happening around us, all over. I mean, see our politicians; they're not playing politics. They are not. All they are just doing is just looking at their own pockets, looking at their own future, not looking at the Nigerian future. I think we must be more holistic in the way we look at politics in this country. Politics is not meant for you to fend for yourselves. It's meant for you to look at what the people are, what the people need to make them move, to make them progress, to make them stable, and to make people generally happier. That's what politics is all about. But if you play politics and people are not, they are bitter, they keep fighting every day, they keep brawls all over the place, then that's not politics. Look at other places. They have skirmishes here and there in political circles, but that does not bring them to their needs. But in Nigeria here, our politics is bringing us down to our knees now. Nothing seems to be working in this country. Put your finger in this place, it doesn't work. Put your finger in that place, it doesn't work. So what are we doing? Are we moving really? You start to ask yourself, are we static? At least I've been in this country for some few years now, and I've seen a lot of political figures go in and out of this country, in and out of politics and all sorts of things. And I seem to think that I'm still static where I am. What I used to see, or in any case, not even static. I seem to have been seeing a decline in the standard of living in this country, and that's a terrible thing. What you were able to buy in past years, not thinking of the money now. I'm not talking about the money now. I think about the standard of what you're able to purchase, and with the kind of ability, your capacity to purchase at that time, it seems to be going down drastically. And you can find people. Look at the streets now. A lot of people there are some people who have bought cars 5-6 years ago. They are beginning to sell because of inability to maintain. And that's a big problem in a country like this. You go to places like Britain, like America, you see cars that are even some cars are over 10 years old and they're still on the road doing fine, and the owners are still able to maintain them. But here, when you look at the cost of spare parts, look at the cost of fuel, look at the cost of oil, a lot of things. It makes it difficult. Look at tires. People are beginning to use Tokumbo tires, and it's causing a lot of havoc. And what can they do? Because they cannot afford the new ones. You can buy a single tire costing about 40-something thousand naira. So it's getting so hard for people to live. And if people are finding it hard to live, the democracy has not come to stay. It is not stable at all. It is still wobbling.
Thank you, Sonia. Now, if the army is saying that they are no longer interested in taking power from the politicians, they can do it the way they like, and the politicians behavior, and it's not keen. I mean, the politicians are not keen on sustaining democracy in this country. Larry, how do we tame them in order not to derail this democracy that we have at hand now? Larry,
Yes, sir.
how do we tame the politicians
I
in order
find it a
not to
tough
derail
call.
the democracy that
I
we
find
have
it a tough call. I was wondering, how do we tame the politicians? We've said it time and again. What is their interest? That's the question we should be asking them.
now? Okay.
What is their interest? Do they really want this transition? If they want it, how are they going to cooperate with us? I've looked at it, and I could recall, one knows I've been saying this, that the body language of Nigerian politicians at some level is not showing us they want this election. Do they want it now? We should ask that question now more than ever. Because if by their actions they are not showing that they want an election to hold, then we should not be disturbing ourselves. What do they want? But we need an election to elect a new set of people into power. I have examined interests. When you look at what it does for the people, we want to move ahead. But these things are not working. One, those who are supposed to speak to issues are not speaking to issues. We are not babies. We have seen campaigns for presidential elections before. Have you seen that on the streets? Now, if you even want to run an election campaign, is it under this atmosphere that you have to queue to even buy fuel at 270 when it's supposed to cost 180? Some things are so fundamentally wrong about this timing that we need to, examine why. Is it that the fifth columnists have taken over? Is it that they have had the field day now and they're in charge? If these two things are the things happening, no amount of commitment to purpose will assist, whether INEC or even the armed forces and the rest of them. The armed forces are supposed to be up against attacks on facilities.
Okay.
It is not happening.
Yeah.
And so, how do you want to convince people to put in all they can to help us go forward in this? To me, I think we need to start hearing from a certain group of people.
Okay.
And the moment those groups of people are not talking, we must elicit information and tell them, speak up.
Okay.
Don't let us just, like Yorubas will say, Ibojiji. Don't give us hard nut to crack.
Okay.
Don't let us just assume we're on the same page, whereas you are reading a different book. You can be on page 17 and you are reading a different book and reading. So we say we are on the same page. What page are you on 17? But it's the same different things. So this book is telling me this, yours is telling you something different. So let's come to brass tacks.
Okay.
What do you want us to do so that we can get there?
Right.
That's the truth.
Okay.
I want us to talk about.
Thank you, Larry. So yeah, you see, there is, before we round up on this topic, there is a need for us to protect this democracy that we have in this country now. But see, our politicians, it's like the way they behave, they are not very keen on protecting this civil rule that we are enjoying now. What can we do?
There's a need for us. I want to ask you, who are these us? You see, we have, just like we have in the Bible,
Okay.
you have Genesis chapter 1, verse 1.
Yeah.
In Luke, you have chapter 1, verse 1.
Yeah.
In every book of the Bible, you have chapter 1, verse 1.
Yes.
It all depends on which chapter you are, which book we are on.
Yes.
We are not on the same page, all of us. The downtrodden masses, the politicians, there's hierarchy everywhere. Look at the politicians. The top hierarchy of the politicians, they have different agenda from those ones that support them. Those ones that support them want full-fledged democracy. They want to go ahead and have elections and get settled.
Yeah.
But those who are on top, they have another agenda. Party A has an agenda. The leader party has an agenda in mind. These are party P has an agenda in mind. Which all these agenda that they have in mind, they are not discussing to one another. And so they are not on the same platform. We are working at crossroads. And for us to protect this democracy, we have to be on the same stage. We have to have a mind that we are going for this. This is what we want for this country. We are not, I don't know, it's mind-boggling sometimes when I look at the kind of things people say out of their mouth to the masses, and the masses just take as if nothing is happening. A lot is happening. And so we are not there yet. We cannot still think on the same level. We cannot think about the same thing. We cannot think about the same solution to all these problems. And the only way we can go about that we can get there, is through election. And if through election we are not getting the right things from the electoral process, then we are not there. The INEC has already assured us that we are going to find free, fair, and credible elections holding. That's if the election holds. Some people are bent not to have the elections hold. And so that's where the problem is. That's why I say we are not on the same level at all. INEC, look at it now. General Report is getting its own constituency.
Yes.
INEC is getting its own constituency. The masses are waiting for something to happen.
Yes.
The electoral body, I mean the party politicians, they are waiting for something to happen. And when you look at all these things, they are not on the same level. And that's the problem we have. Boko Haram is busy fighting his own war. Banditry is busy having his own front. Kidnapping and rescue, they are busy looking for money all over. So where are we? I think we must have a direction in this country. I've always said it. That when you have a leader who doesn't have a good team, that leader cannot succeed. No matter how good he is. All those ones under him will be working across purposes. And it won't work out. So a leader must be good, must have good antecedent, and must have nose for picking good team. That's the team that will work. He cannot see everything. This the various sectoral leaders that will report back to him. This is what's happening in my own sector. This is what I've done. You have not done well, we table it and all of us look at it. But see, all of them are just doing whatever they like in their own sectors. Without somebody who's in command to tell them this is where you should go, this is where you shouldn't go. And for as long as we have that, we still don't know where we are going.
All right.
That's my own view.
Thank you, Saya. A leader must have a good team.
A good team.
And we must have direction.
Direction, yes.
Thank you very much. Now, let's move to the second topic of our discussion. I exposed Obasanjo's third-term bid to Senate, Senator Ben Obi. Larry, what is it that that could have motivated Senator Obi to expose Obasanjo to the National Assembly?
Well, making that statement now, there's one thing I say all the time, and when I do, it's out of personal conviction that some things are right when it's rife, and not right when not done appropriately. Now, for Senator Obi to be coming to tell us this, did he tell the world that at the time it happened? He told some people at the Senate that's a withdrawn setting in governance. You might tell people things to mercantile advantage. You might tell people things to social advantage. However, when you do that, the appropriate time to show and own that disclosure was the time it happened. So for him to now be saying that, of course, we knew it was largely a topical issue at that time, that maybe Chief Olusegun Obasanjo is trying to make people in the National Assembly accede to his wish of extending his tenure. However, you coming now to own it, we knew it happened at that time. A lot of people said, okay, National Assembly, we won't agree. This. If Atiku says he did not make it happen, it's possible. Because we knew of that midnight flight to the east that Atiku had and came back almost 2-3 hours after. He had the ambition and he felt his leader does not want to leave. And so for Senator Obi to now be saying he did it, you might be doing it in your own corner. Somebody is doing something else on another corner. And in the national picture, we saw Atiku arrive, I think Abuja, in the middle of the night with some of these governors and National Assembly members that this was not going to happen. And if you are now laying claims to being the person that made that not to happen, then it's jejune. It's not something we want to really believe, because at that time, at no point did we have your name ascribed to that position.
Okay.
So, well, on your own part, you are saying that, and for whatever purpose you want to achieve with it, fine. But the truth is, that was something that played out in the political history of Nigeria.
Yeah.
And if indeed you were a party to it, then you will deserve that accolade. But at the same time, I'm saying it was not to the knowledge of the people that you did, but we all know as a fact of history that was what happened, and an attempt was made in that line.
All right. Thank you. So yeah, let me ask this. If Larry said that if Senator Obi actually exposed Obasanjo to the National Assembly, some other people are doing something in order to scuttle that ambition of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. And Larry said that Atiku did it because he felt that his boss does not want him to become the president at his own time. That means he did it for his own personal interest. Could Obi have also done this for his own selfish interest?
Yeah, I think what we should be looking at is even far more than that.
Yeah.
Either personal interest or no personal interest.
Okay.
If you did at that time, if you did something very positive at that time,
Okay.
even if for personal interest,
Yeah.
if it pays the nation,
Okay.
fine. But the question I begin to ask myself when I first read of that is, what is the positivity in what you have just said? You exposed Obasanjo because you wanted to do a third term.
Yeah.
Then what's possible about that? Did you stop it?
Mm.
You merely exposed it, that's all. Just like exposing a coup. Without stopping the coup, then what have you done? Practically nothing. Some people went ahead to stop this thing. Were you part of that group?
Yeah.
I think that's the question we should ask. Then, the second question I want to ask him is, why now? Why is he saying it now? What's the purpose? What does he want to gain from saying it now? When you go to a lot of things have been written about this third term bid. A lot of stories have come from the left flank, right flank, front and back, and you didn't say anything all that time, and you're not saying it now. Are you vying for the presidential seat right now? It's about just stepping on your toes right now, that you want now to expose, to make sure that you show yourself as somebody with integrity or something. I know. So these are the questions, and so his statement does not make any meaning to me, as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't add or take away from the polity right now. So I don't think it's not an issue as far as I'm concerned. That statement is not an issue as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
So nothing positive about it. Just a statement to say, to make people say, I was one of those people then. Okay. If you're one of those people then,
All right. Now, Larry, let me ask this question. Now, we all know what transpired during that time when Obasanjo was seeking to bid. Yeah. We knew how National Assembly was heavily induced. Can we say that if I thought Senator Obi exposed Obasanjo to National Assembly, could it be because he's not one of the he wasn't one of the beneficiaries of that inducement in the National Assembly? Or what could have prompted him to have exposed Obasanjo to the National Assembly?
Now, whatever it was, they are calling Obasanjo's third term bid is wishful. Wishful in the sense that, one, even if Chief Olusegun Obasanjo planned it, it was sublime. It was not made obvious. It was probably through some of his aides and the rest of them trying to talk to people across board to probably see and share that vision. But the fact that it never came to public domain, as in, okay, we want this done, and then it did not happen. So to me, it is a non-issue. It's a non-issue because you are unable to explain your role and the positive way it has worked on the lives of the people. But basically, it is normal for history to capture such and record the roles of everybody down the line in that regard. Yes, it is normal to obnob and try to buy support from the National Assembly by the executive arm of government, but it's not so much of a crime.
Yeah.
Because if the National Assembly had gone ahead to create an emergency situation and all, and say they are passing a fresh law on whatever, we would just keep castigating Obasanjo about it. It will be happening because the law has placed some things in their hands.
Yeah.
And some major things they are supposed to do that the law placed in their hands is within, is their prerogative to either act on it or not. So to me, I don't think it's much of an issue. The long and short is that let us consider what we want to benefit from this. I am not against anybody, but I think we should be thinking of how best to manage ourselves to the next level, which is the better level. Because there are levels up, there are levels down.
Yeah.
So sometimes, because of our recent experience, when you say, let's go to the next level, is it up or down? We should fundamentally ask people who want to take us to the next level, who want to bring change to us, what type of change? Is it positive or negative? If you want to take me to the next level, is it up, that adds to me, or down, that takes from me?
Now,
let me just quickly point out something.
Okay.
Senator Obi's exposure of Obasanjo.
Yeah.
Why I say it's a nullity is because if he had not exposed Obasanjo, Obasanjo would have been exposed anyway. So he has not done us any good.
Okay.
By exposing Obasanjo's third term ambition to the Senate.
But
Atiku did more. You may say it's from a personal
vendetta or whatever.
Something, whatever. He did much more than that by trying to stop it.
Okay.
And that's the point. Trying to stop it is the most important thing, not just exposing it. If you expose it, and if at that time something good had come your way, perhaps exposing it would have meant exposing it to solicit for the support of the assembly.
But let me ask you this: would Atiku have done something to stop Obasanjo if it was not going to affect his interest?
Who knows? You never can tell. That's the conjecture. You never can tell. He could have just thought about it that, well, out of the love for my country, because it's unconstitutional in any case. So for the National Assembly to now make it constitutional, he may have tried to stop it, to say this is unconstitutional. He could have done it. So you never can tell a man's thinking from his face. So it could have happened. But he did not do it. He did it for personal reasons that we know. Because he wanted to be president too. And knew Obasanjo wasn't going to let him be president. So that's one reason why he exposed it and stopped it and tried to stop it. And so that's a good way. It's better than Obi just exposing it. Because if Obi exposed it and something good came his way, to that exposure, he could have supported the National Assembly. So, okay, I've exposed it, so he's going to do this. Let's support him.
Okay, I'm still coming back to you. Let me come to Larry first. Larry, you said something the other time. You said history will record the role of individuals that participated in stopping Obasanjo's thought and bid.
In the saga.
I'm coming. Do you think history will also record the role of Senator Obi in exposing Obasanjo?
As I said, that the saga, it was a saga.
Yeah.
And so that saga, you need to identify why anybody did whatever they did there. And so because Senator Obi is talking about it now, it's probably because he felt there was capital in it for him and he wants to make the best of it. Probably he was talking now because he knew the position of Atiku. He knew, probably in his mind, that there is that probability of an Atiku becoming the head of state or whoever is with. And so mentioning this is a political shot. A political shot at, okay, it's a gamble. If my person wins, I have made a public information that I made this known. And so whoever is supposed to compensate me for being part of that should go ahead. Also, this particular time, making that statement is like saying, okay, I've heard Obasanjo say a few things about candidacy and the rest about this election. I've heard Obasanjo stand with somebody or the other in this election. Let's burst his bubble. So if he wants to achieve that purpose of putting a needle in the balloon of the weight of whatever Obasanjo carried to anywhere, let's burst the bubble. Yeah, if I'm part of those who burst this bubble now, whoever is the beneficiary of it, if it does not work for Obasanjo's position and works for other people, then they can count me as one of those who have added to whatever achievement they are going to make. And so to me, he has a personal reason for stating it now.
All right.
And not when it happened.
Okay. Now, from your point that concerning history, how history will record the role of individual. So yeah, you said the other time that you don't make any meaning out of what will be said. Does this mean that history will not be kind to him for participating in stopping Obasanjo?
History being kind to him. History will only record him. History can only record him. What kindness will history do to him? Anybody reading that? If you have your senses, you just think like, what's the role this one has played? Yes, he did something. He exposed. That's all. And if for now he's thinking that he wants to burst Obasanjo's bubble, it's only joking. Joking in the sense that does not burst his bubble, does not burst Obasanjo's bubble at all. You have known that this was what Obasanjo wanted to do, and all of us knew that. So by now saying it, you have not done it, you have not added anything new to what you have known. You have not done anything new, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think whatever role he wants to play for political reasons, I think whoever is playing up to will know that this man has nothing up to say.
So you may should have done something more concrete.
More concrete.
Exposure.
More solid.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's move to the third topic of our discussion for today, because our time is fast spent. COVID-19, NCDC confirms 42 new cases. Larry, are you not worried? This thing is coming again.
It's a problem of the world. So oftentimes I'm not worried by such things, but my worry starts when I know the limitations of ours as a nation. Limitations not because of lack of knowledge, limitations not because of lack of capacity to deal, but limitations because our institutions are dysfunctional. Our institutions that are supposed to take care of all of this are supposed to have taken steps, but they are probably waiting for some approval somewhere, some funding to come from some other places for that emergency situation. And so I begin to wonder why we are this way. The strain of COVID-19 that is identified now is huge. It is lethal enough to act faster, and they have little or at least less control over it than the last strain. So with that at the back of our minds, we should know that where we find ourselves today keeps us at the receiving end, because the agencies that are supposed to work, some don't have the work tools. The people that are supposed to work on this don't have adequate incentives, and so the lackadaisical attitude cannot get those problems solved on time. And it's real because the world has seen this new COVID-19 in places where they have identified it as so. Now, as in Africa, in Nigeria in particular, the level of compromise in terms of corruption and the rest of them makes it difficult for us to act proactively to control this pandemic. And we can only pray, because the system has not produced or stationed itself enough to tackle this.
All right.
And the sad part is that the rate at which this can consume life is enough reason why we should act as it is an emergency.
All right.
And most states around us have not considered it that much, despite the experience we had that time.
All right. So yeah, you see, we know the level of damage done to our economy in the previous experience that we witnessed concerning this issue of COVID-19. We've not gotten out of that problem. Another one is coming now. Are you not worried?
I've been worried long before now. I think it was on this program I said something that we are here to live with COVID.
Yeah.
It's not something that's going to go away so fast.
Okay.
But all of a sudden, we seem to let off our guards and believe that everything is over. We are out of the woods. Whereas nations that are stronger than us, medically, they didn't let off their guards. And they still got this contact. Look at what is happening now. The recent variant of the COVID that's happening now has not gone to Nigeria. See what you are witnessing now. It's the old order that we're still experiencing now. These 14 new cases that I'm talking about. See the old order. And the new variant now is more lethal than the old one. It could kill very, very fast without anybody noticing. And we have let our guard. Look at NCDC. Since the last one that happened, how many times have we had them talking? The group that was constituted at that time, to take up, they have gone, everybody has gone back to his former beat. And so we are now left all alone in the open. So if today now, any COVID happens, let me talk about, God forbid, in Oshuna, in Shobuna. I doubt it very much whether Ashubia is still holding forth for COVID-19 patients like he used to do in the past. I doubt it very much whether they will still be working the way they used to work in the past, contacting you and things like that. I doubt it very much whether the tests are still being conducted as of that time, as the way we used to conduct at that time. In any case, anybody traveling abroad now doesn't need any COVID-19 certificate anymore. Freedom for COVID-19. So we have left off our guards. And so if the new variant happens to come into this country today, honestly, I'm worried. I'm worried at what will happen. I was discussing yesterday in my office about this COVID-19. And what we did at that time, because I was attacked at that time, and I was a victim of COVID-19. And what we did at that time to get out of that situation, we still keep on doing this in my office. We have not left out our guards. We are talking about it yesterday, that we still have to do our work, the Abu that we still have to do it again to revive ourselves. Because if this attack comes, it weakens you down, it breaks your immunity, and every other thing can attack you at any point. And that's the most dangerous thing about it. But this one now that you don't even notice anything. Another time you quickly notice. But this video you don't notice it until it has hit the target. Where it is very, very dangerous. And so I think for now, since the federal government has known that this is happening right now, and we see have the whole variant still happening in Nigeria, we should go back to our drawing board. How do we tackle this now and nip it in the bud? What we are seeing now is just the tip of the iceberg. By the time the thing rolls out, the Nigerian government will not be able to contain it. And we are moving to election period. It can be very, very dangerous.
Yeah, thank you. Larry, you see, the NCDC confirmed 42 new cases. The federal government is trying to reintroduce safety measures like face masks and the rest of them. But the federal government has rolled out the possibility of lockdown. Now, what will you want the federal government to do in order to contain this thing? Larry, what will you have? I mean, what will you want the federal government to do in order to contain the spread of this thing?
This COVID-19 thing, I don't think we have greater issues on our hands. And it's coming to add to that problem. The federal government has told us it wants to act proactively on many issues, but on health grounds, even the budget of the nation, does it recognize the fact that there was still the possibility for COVID-19? The NCDC had done all they did, and we knew at what cost at that time.
Yes.
Is the nation poised for that when you still have issues of indebtedness and fiscal commitment to a level? I think those working with the federal government should document stuff, because there will come a time that everybody will have to explain their roles in what they did. To me, a lot of issues along that line, but before you know it, leadership in Nigeria will go for treatment abroad for whatever little thing they see. So when they are not acting as they should, you begin to pick your answers from here and there. Now, on this very one, by the time you see a high profile or two, you see that the action will become more like we know what we are doing. It's unfortunate, but you knew when the first one started. The time that the government got serious about it was when it peaked from the corridors of power. And are we waiting for that? Everybody, at that time, you recall, that time they said it cost close to $1 million or so to get, about 5 million to get admitted, between 5 and 10 million to get admitted into a hospital where they knew they had some level of equipment that could keep you till they can do one thing or the other for you. But now everybody is keeping quiet because, well, it has not peaked from the big circle. Are we going to wait till it peaks from the big circle? Those who are not in the big circle, how much of the statistics have we had? The agencies that are supposed to handle it, we have NSCDC, Newsroom, an arm of it. We have them everywhere in Nigeria. We have them at the federal level. What is, so that time, have you forgotten? That on a daily basis, they give us information.
Yes.
That this state, this number, this state,
yes.
Until something happens. Oh, maybe that's when they wake up to that responsibility to act. I am begging those who are working, because at some point you get so frustrated that you begin to beg. Those who are that, please, let's see eyeball to eyeball on these issues. These issues, not all issues are political party based. There are issues that are fundamentally to do with the lives of the people. So don't see it as a party. They say, oh, they have brought that one again. Opposition party will say, oh, they want to steal money again. No, don't reduce it to that. Let's get some information. Let's get some solutions mapped out so that this will not hit us. I am afraid. I'm afraid because before a high-profile casualty occurs in issues like this, millions of recognized people would have suffered it. And so let us appeal that before that happens, before it happens to a big man that will now consider it a problem, let us face it, attack as the best form of defense. So if we want to defend our citizenry against it, let us go all out to face it and nip it in the bud. If you present the proposal, someone will say, they want to eat, they have come again. No, until it happens in that circle, people now get afraid. They'll be treating themselves privately, but that is when they will now start supporting. But in the present, they want to kill the view, they want to kill the idea of solving that problem because it has not happened to anybody. And some will want to cash in and cash out. Because, yes, this issue has come, and let's bring up proposals of how we can chop. Don't chop everything that you think you see on the way. It is not good.
Yeah, thank you. So before we round it up on the program, how best can government strengthen our health institutions in order to contain this?
I'm afraid from two angles. One, at the point when the other one started, we had world bodies assisting us. The funds and things like that. We had donor organizations assisting us with funds. And that's why we're able to combat these things. Right now, they are not ready to do that. They may do that. They have not started doing that. That's one. Two, the commitment of our government in doing that, we had more than enough personnel that we have now. A lot of the nurses, a lot of the doctors now have relocated abroad. So where do we stand in this case? I know of someone who was in charge of COVID-19, principally in charge of COVID-19, abroad now with the family, permanently. And that's just one that I know. You can imagine how many others have relocated. So if our health system is that bad right now, I'm afraid from these two angles, how we can tackle it. Because, and look at the government resources now. It has dwindled so much. And so from these three angles, I don't know how we're going to do it. And that's why right now, we must move immediately now to nip it. So we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg. Before the thing goes deeper than what it is right now, those people are going to bring it. It's not the common man that will bring the COVID-19 in. Those people that can travel abroad right now, that will bring it in. And then when they bring it in, they start acting this big medicine. And they will go to their employees. They will infect their maid servants, they infect people who they meet on their way, their drivers and everything. And the thing will spread. I know what happens when you have this community spread of this kind of thing. It's dangerous. So I think government must think now. Those who are in charge of our health system should think now that this is the time to act. You don't want to do it because you don't have enough resources to do it, even bludgeons. So let's be careful.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thanks for having us. Thank you for having me.
So yeah,
thank
you
God
for coming today.
For making us
thank you.
Here to the end.
Thank you very much. Yeah, viewers at all, this is where we are going to call it quit for today. Tomorrow is another day when we bring you a fresh edition, another edition of the program in the newsroom, the same time tomorrow. Today, I am Kayode Adebayo. Bye-bye.
Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom. You can't afford to miss it.
Ọ̀ṣun lárugẹ.